Hello and a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Neha Bhardwaj-Alter and this is Game On. It wasn't to be in the end as our Pragnananda lost to the five-time world champion Magnus Carlsen in the tiebreaker. Carlsen seized the initiative in the final by winning Game 1 of the tiebreaker against the 18-year-old opponent. The world number one forced Pragg into a corner by putting pressure on the youngster on the board, which actually led to the Indian getting into big time trouble. It was always going to be a challenge with the black pieces to force a win, and in the end, Carlsen then took the second rapid game as well. Pragg chose to shake hands and agree to a draw, which meant the world number one Norwegian has added the World Cup title to his overflowing cabinet. Regardless of this loss, though, Pragnananda has been brilliant throughout the tournament. He's beaten world number 2, he's beaten world number 3 on his way to the final. He was also the lowest seed to make it to the World Cup final. We're going to be looking back on Pragg's journey in this final and also talk a little bit about the journey overall of how he's reached here. We'll talk about the golden generation, as Vishwanathan Anand calls it now in Indian chess, with some of these young kids, teenagers rather, all under the age of 20, doing well at the international level. Even at this World Cup, there were 4 Indians who made it to the quarterfinals. It was the first time. So it is a watershed moment for chess in India. We're going to talk all about that. But let's also talk a little bit more on Pragnananda. Now, he has lost the final, but he survived 3 days and 4 games before he finally shook hands with Magnus Carlsen, who's the world number one. And, said that, okay, I may have lost the final, but the journey itself I can be very proud of. So, he's already entered record books at home by becoming the youngest Indian and the second Indian after Vishwanathan Anand to reach the finals of the Chess World Cup. It is pertinent to note that Magnus Carlsen, who is 32 years old, is the world number one, while young Pragnananda is world number 29. This, in a way, has shown the outstanding caliber of Pragnananda, as he took down opponents that have been ranked much higher than him on his way to the finals of the tournament. Among them are world number 2 Hikaru Nakamura and world number 3 Fabio Caruana of the United States. And both were beaten in tie breaks. Imagine how exhaustive this month has been for Pragnananda. Carlsen has been world number one in FIDE charts since 2011. His streak in the second longest is the second longest unbroken run in chess history, trailing only retired legend Garry Kasparov. But coming back to Pragg, 2 classical games on Tuesday and Wednesday, they ended in a draw. But after that, today was meant to be the rapid games. And the first game, Pragnananda, he lost to Magnus Carlsen. The second one, Carlsen drew that game, which meant overall Carlsen won the World Cup. This is also, curiously, Carlsen's first World Cup title. And that's why he's been so motivated throughout. Yesterday was a bit of an anticlimax, where one thought that Carlsen would try to go for a win in the second classical game, but he went for a draw. And that was because he had food poisoning and he wanted another day to recover, which is exactly what he did today. Today, Pragnananda, as much as he tried, lost to the pressure that was exerted by Magnus Carlsen in the first game. And towards the end, he was really strapped for time. Now, we've got 2 guests here on the show with us. There is Bharat Singh Chauhan, who is the chairman, FIDE Advisory Board, and Rakesh Rao, senior journalist. He's also a former chess player. Both of these chess experts will be joining us today. They will be on the show at some point, I'm going to be told by my producer that they have joined us. But for now, we'll just okay, I'm being told that there's some issue with their audio. We're trying to sort that out. But let's just continue talking about what a tremendous feat this has been for Pragnananda. And just put those visuals, leave these visuals on the screen and talk a bit about this chess prodigy, our Pragnananda, who's on his way, like I said, defeated world number 2, world number 3, and his compatriot Arjun Erigaisi to reach the World Chess World Cup final. He is the youngest in the world and only the second Indian after Viswanathan Anand in 2002 to feature in a FIDE World Cup final. This is huge, and we'd like to congratulate Pragnananda as well, his family, his mother, who's been his constant support. She's been in all those pictures where she's praying for him. She's in her own way supporting him. And I'm joined now by a guest. He is joining us from Baku, where this championship is being held. Bharat Singh Chauhan, Chairman FIDE Advisory Board. He joins us here, sir. First of all, as an Indian, congratulations to you. This is a huge moment. Pragnananda may have lost the final to Magnus Carlsen, but his journey, just the way he's got to the final and what he's achieved in the last 1 month has been phenomenal. Isn't that so?
Yeah, I think it's a very great thing for Indian chess. I should say Indian sports. At such a young age, he has achieved this. And not only Magnus Carlsen, he defeated world number 2, world number 3. And this kind of tournament, knockout tournaments, you really need a big skill to advance. I mean, you can make it that Carlsen is winning it for the first time.
Yeah.
So it's really good. Pragg has made all of us proud. And today's game also, it was really not so bad, but unfortunately, it was not his day.
So we've got to put this in perspective for everybody else, because for a lot of people who are watching this and are saying that, but he's lost the final. We need to tell the world that he may have lost the final, but he is now only the second Indian to make it to the candidates tournament, right? Which is also a huge deal, which is what all these chess players aspire for. So in a sense, this 18-year-old has broken a lot of those records, right, over the course of last 1 month in this World Cup.
Yes, this is something remarkable. I mean, it's not just losing finals or something. In final also, he lost only 1 game. That too, he was better till 38th move. I mean, just small mistake, and he lost that game. Second game he draw. So he lost just 1 game, and lost and win is just part of life. But he has done a wonderful work, reaching to the finals, and also he'll be playing candidates. At least now we have some hopes from him for the world becoming world champion, because candidates he'll play.
Sir, I've got to ask you this. Have you had a chance to speak to him, to his mother? How was he coping with this whole tournament? Because, from all the reports that I was reading and I don't think anyone can actually prepare for the tournament going all the way to the final in a situation like this. So I think what he and his team had prepared for was only till the quarterfinals, right? And after that, they weren't expecting that he would make it to the finals. So what has that been like? Have you spoken to him, to his mother, what the preparations have been for them?
Yeah, I think one point of time you have to be very practical. Then nobody thought that he'll go to finals, and he played well. Apart from games preparation, other preparations are also very important. You're away from your country's food, your friends, your people, your family, everything you're missing. So his mother was there cooking in the room, sambar, rice, rasam, everything home. So it was a great support work, joint effort by everyone. Of course, he played well. His mother, his parents, his coaches working day and night, and everyone is contributing. Of course, Government of India, we should not forget those. They are funding this entire tournament participation for Indian players.
But sir, what was his mindset like and the mood that he was in? Because there's one thing about Pragg is that you cannot really see what's going on inside him, and I'm sure his mother says, of course, his mother would be able to see through that poker face, but he's not somebody who shows his emotions. So, what was that like? I know that after he defeated Caruana, he said that, it has been exhausting, 1 month of this non-stop. So what was that like, the mindset throughout?
I think it's very difficult. Most of the chess players, they don't reveal what is in their mind. And Pragg is very special. Even after losing, I went to meet him and told him, forget, but he has no, sadness or something. He's hiding everything. You cannot make out from his face that what is in his mind. So probably that is a beauty. He can, his opponents cannot judge whether he by his face, tension or bad position or good position. I think that way, 18-year-old boy controlling his emotions is something very important for him. As far as chess is concerned, controlling emotion at the age of 18 is something very good.
What is it about chess in the country in the last few years? You're just seeing the growth, fan base has increased. Vishwanathan Anand called this the youngsters right now as the golden generation, with Arjun, Vidit. There is Gukesh, of course, who broke Vishwanathan Anand's record in being the top-ranked Indian. How has this come about? What do you attribute this to, sir?
I think if I say in the country, other than cricket, most of other sports depend on government funding.
Right.
And government funding has been really great for this event, for these sports. And also, we could generate a good platform. You know why these youngsters are playing? Probably we are the only federation which runs national under 7. You might have not heard under 7, under 9, under 11, under 13. Most of the federations, they have just set of nationals under 15 and under 19. We thought we should give them equal opportunity in their age bracket. And we also thought when we start younger age nationals, they give more to the sports and more years to the sports and also more years to the country. You start 15 or 20.
Okay, I think we seem to have lost Sir Bharat sir, but we'll try to connect with him. There, he's back. The connection was weak. Yes, sir. Continue, please.
Yeah. So at the young age, we should start so that they can do more till the time they get into family issues. So that was the idea, and there have been a big planning for this. We were 170 few years back, but today we are number 2 and 3 in world out of 200 countries. And this chess Olympiad, I think it was a milestone, biggest sporting event in the country with 186 countries participation. That is how our youngsters got chance, because normally in Olympiad you play only one team. We could field 3 teams there because we are being the host. So Olympiad make a big buzz in the country. A lot of people joined, a lot of people started learning chess. At least people knew that chess is something. And as Grandmaster, there was a torch relay. Honorable Prime Minister came for the inauguration. So the entire thing was created, and chess became suddenly more popular. Of course, our players were performing before, and now of the younger generation, Gukesh, Pragnananda, Irgasi Arjun, Nehal Sarin, they all are fantastic. And, we have Asian Games next month, and we have this young brigade again, 17-year-old Gukesh, Pragnananda, Irgasi Arjun. I think there is a big setup and entry. Everybody has contributed. Federation has provided opportunity. Government has supported. His sponsors are funding him. His family is supporting. His trainers are doing extremely well. Getting such performance is not a easy thing in one day. Everyone has contributed for many years.
No, absolutely, sir. And those results are showing, because I think after Vishwanathan Anand, there was a bit of a lull. And now suddenly you're seeing this chess boom, right?
Yeah, I think this to start at the young age is most important thing. And nowadays people think, what is chess? But I like to say something very important. It is equally important, like we go to parks, do physical exercise. Playing chess is equally important for mental fitness. So you go to park, walk and play chess. So these two things are equally important, physically fitness and mental fitness.
But it must be a proud moment for you, sir, as an Indian as well, being there in Baku, and you have 4 Indians in the quarterfinals.
Yes. Actually, I went back. We had some work in India, and I had no plans to come back. When I saw 8 Indians in quarterfinals, I rushed back. And yesterday, missed our flight in Dubai. We were just praying that today's game should draw so we could meet Pragg and push him and encourage him. So luckily today, but unfortunately today he lost. But it was a good game. It was not one-sided at all.
No, absolutely. Okay, for all of you, Pragnananda, he may have lost today, but what he's done has been phenomenal. And we're going to talk about his journey in chess. He's already entered record books at home by becoming the youngest Indian and the second Indian after Vishwanathan Anand to reach the finals of the Chess World Cup. And also, it is pertinent to note that Magnus Carlsen, who's 32 years old, he's world number 1, while Pragnananda is world number 29. This, in a way, has shown the outstanding caliber of Pragg as he took down opponents ranked much higher than him on his way to the finals of the tournament. Among them are world number 2 Hikaru Nakamura, world number 3 Fabio Caruana of the US, and both were beaten in tiebreaks. Carlsen, of course, we know he's been number 1 in the FIDE chart since 2011. This is his streak, is the second longest unbroken run in chess history, trailing only Garry Kasparov. Coming back to Pragg, he's become the youngest player after the iconic Bobby Fischer and Carlsen himself to qualify for the prestigious Candidates Tournament, which is held to find a challenger for world champion Ding Liren at the next World Chess Championship battle. Pragg, who turned 18 during the World Cup, he's the youngest World Cup finalist ever in 2016, in fact. Pragg became the youngest international master and then he was just 10 years old at that time, 10 years, 10 months and 19 days when he attained this momentous feat. And he defeated Magnus Carlsen thrice in 2022, and he's actually been very good in rapid games and in blitz. But today wasn't to be. But this does not mean that what he's achieved is anything less. I mean, he was the lowest ranked opponent in the final in a World Cup. For him, who's seeded 31, he made it to the final of the World Cup. It was a huge achievement. And like I said, in the last 1 month, what he's achieved has been incredible. Bharat Singh Chauhan, he's the chairman of FIDE Advisory Board, who's there in Baku. He was watching this game live. He's followed Pragg's journey. He's seen and has been part of that chess boom in the country in the last few years. He's here with us. Tanya Sachdev, she's also going to be joining us in another 2 to 3 minutes. If we can just try to get Tanya Sachdev on the show, it'll be nice to have her I know that she's going to be joining us here. But this has been a phenomenal achievement. Pragnananda is the runner-up in the World Cup. Only the second Indian since Vishwanathan Anand to achieve this feat, to be in the final of the World Cup. And Tanya Sachdev is here with us. Like I was saying, we've been waiting for her. Tanya, he may have lost the final, but it has been an incredible run in this World Cup. Something that was unexpected, given the kind of players who were there on his way to the final. He beat world number 2, world number 3. Of course, Magnus Carlsen is a different beast. But how do you see his performance throughout this World Cup?
Just spectacular. I don't think anyone expected Pragg to get to the finals. You know, we were all waiting to see the performance of these young Indians. And really, overall, it was a scintillating event for them. For Arjun, Pragg, Vidit making it through, Gukesh, we had 4 Indians in the quarterfinals. But for Pragg, the run to make it all the way to the finals, like you said, he beat Hikaru along the way. He beat Fabiano Caruana, took down Arjun in an epic fight, some of the biggest names, biggest grandmasters of the chess world, and then to fight for the title at just 18 years old. It's really a historical moment, not I think only in Pragg's career, but for Indian chess.
Absolutely. And also the chess boom, right? To be able to see, like you mentioned, 4 Indians in the quarterfinals of a World Cup. Who would have thought? This has been incredible. But I've got to also ask you about, his game itself. For an 18-year-old to have that kind of a game, what do you think has gone behind it? I mean, I know that he's worked incredibly hard. I had a chat with his coach as well earlier on. But are you amazed by how good he is at 18?
Just phenomenal. I think Pragg has all the ingredients, all the potential to make it to the very best, to fight for the World Championship. And a lot of that credit, probably all of that credit, goes to his incredible support system. Ramesh, his coach, his parents, his mom who's been there at the World Cup, his sister Vaishali, they are doing everything right. And absolutely, I think it's been, like I said, surpassed all expectations. We were all waiting to see how far the Indian youngsters would go, but to reach to the finals, to be the first Indian after Vishwanathan Anand to play the candidates, to fight for the World Championship title. And again, at this age, he turned 18 during the World Cup. Is just, I think in more ways than one, Indian sports fans are over the moon.
Yeah, I'm sure. Your heart fills with pride. I mean, to just be able to see so many of them. And I think all 4 of them are under 20, which is incredible. I've got to also ask you this. When you look at him performing against or playing against Magnus Carlsen, what's the kind of pressure that you're dealing with there? Of course, he's beaten him, right? He's beaten him thrice, I think, last year. But this is a different stage. You know, the occasion itself is huge. It's a World Cup final. I'm sure that must have been playing on his mind. I mean, Magnus Carlsen just comes. Yesterday he came and he was unwell. He had food poisoning, so he decided to draw that game. So he played for a draw. But for Pragg to be first there in the final, which was unexpected for him, he said it, and then against Magnus Carlsen. How much of that played on him?
I don't believe that would play on Pragg's mind. He, like you said, he's played Magnus before. Although it's been a different stage, different ball game completely, because that was online event, it was rapid event, and this is, you're talking about the finals of the World Cup. So the stage is completely different, but pressure is part of the territory. And to be the best in the world and to play against the best and to take down the very best in the world, you learn to deal with this pressure. And I think it turns into a positive energy and the best in you comes out. The way Pragg played against Hikaru, the world number 2, then the way he played against Fabi, who eventually finished second runners up in the tournament, who is one of the very best players in the world. Pragg doesn't fear these opponents. It's one of those scenarios when, you know, when your idols become your rivals. And you said that what is it that makes him so strong? This is one of those characteristics, that he's fearless regardless of who he's playing against. He has this incredible ability to be precise, to calculate just at a whole different level when he's got just seconds and minutes on the clock. The ability to take gutsy, brave decisions on the board. Again, it doesn't matter who he's facing, and that's what's gotten him so far. And he makes it to the candidates, which is the biggest dream for every single chess player, to fight for the world championship.
Absolutely. How much can you prepare in a final or before a final? I mean, I was just thinking about it. He said it. He's exhausted. It's been a long tournament. You know, what, 3 tie breaks for him? How much can one prepare? Or do you just say you just go into it completely blindly, thinking, you know, I'm just going to, I don't know. What's the preparation like?
It's definitely not going into the match blindly. That said, it's also very difficult to prepare against an opponent like Magnus, who plays everything on the chessboard, just every single starting move, and is such a universal player. Of course, he's GOAT. He's world #1, 15 world championship titles. So he's a very difficult opponent to prepare against. And you're absolutely right that the players have been there for about a month. Very often, the final stages of this tournament, it comes down to nerves, to fatigue. While Magnus did not play so many of these playoffs and tiebreaks during this event, Pragg, a lot of his matches went down to the wire, and that really takes a toll, a physical toll, an emotional toll. But that's part of sports. Sports is not easy. Chess is not easy. It's incredibly difficult, and that's what makes it awesome.
What I was asking this to Mr. Chauhan as well. He's here on the show with us, and you know, I was talking about this chess boom in the country. How do you look at it, Tanya? You know, suddenly you've got so many kids who want to play chess, who are playing chess. You just spoke about the guys who are doing well at the international level. You know, Vidit, there is Nihal Sareen, there is, of course, Gukesh, who's just broken Vishwanathan Anand's record. He's become the top ranked player. What do you attribute this this boom in chess to?
It feels like the golden era, the golden generation for chess right now. You know, we have 3 Indians who made it to the quarterfinals of the World Cup, all under 20. And then Vidit as well, who's been such a mainstay in Indian chess, also making it to the quarterfinals. We have 1 Indian in the candidates, the first Indian after Vishy Anand, who will be playing in the candidates. And I think it's amazing to see the kind of interest, the kind of rooting and the cheering the world, the Indian fans, the Indian audience, the sports fans have had during the World Cup. And it does come down to this chess boom. I feel the pandemic had a huge role to play in that, where the audience connected with the game at a very personal level. And now they're invested. They're invested in the players. They're invested in the battles, the inner workings of the mind, the emotions, the nerves. So for me, as a chess player, as a commentator, it's very special to see that. And I think for these youngsters, it's truly the golden age to be in chess. And it's going to be amazing to see what's in store for them.
Okay. Bharat sir, I wanted to ask you this. You of course know that, you know, you are there in Baku. So you know what Pragg's routine is like. But will there be any celebration at all? Is that something that he believes in? Or, you know, there will be like a quiet dinner in the hotel room?
I think it won't be a quiet dinner. Definitely we have Indian Embassy having some program 7 to 9, then dinner, and Pragg has got an early morning flight to Dusseldorf, where for World Rapid Team Championship. So celebration, of course. I think when you reach to the final, everybody expect you to win. And when you lose, I mean, I don't think we'll celebrate, but definitely we'll go together for dinner and attend that embassy function.
Yeah. But sir, this is huge. I mean, he may have lost, but you know, I mean, to even make it to the final, to play like that in the final, it's taken Magnus Carlsen 3 days and 4 games to beat Pragg. So he hasn't made it particularly easy for Magnus.
Yeah, I know it's not easy for anyone to beat Pragg or our younger generations. I think they have all of them have made us proud. The entire country is celebrating and praising them, watching them, following them. Our Prime Minister is following. A lot of ministers are following. So I think it is a good time for chess, golden time for.
Yes. Tanya, how has the game of chess changed with computer now telling you every move, every possibility, and even the preparation for players? Because it's very different. You know, I was watching Vishy's interview yesterday, and he said it's very different. I mean, our preparations used to be very different. Today, you have the computer that can tell you what you need to do next.
Computers have played the biggest role in evolving chess to the modern way in which it's played. Many of the traditional chess wisdom, chess knowledge, or things that you just took for granted in chess, the principles of the game, as we saw, are questioned, broken, and it involves a lot of learning and relearning of the game. And I think these youngsters who've grown on the computer, who've grown learning chess, practicing training with the computer, are able to adapt to that a lot more. While the older generation, it becomes a bit more of a challenge to do that. There are so many ideas and concepts of the game that have evolved because of the questions and, again, the breaking of the norm by modern engines. Things which were believed to be completely lost. Or wait a second, this should be draw, this should be okay for white, or black should be winning here. All of the rules have been sort of taken and chucked out of the window. And today it's all about calculation and concrete chess. And that's why we see it becoming younger and younger. And I feel the current generation, the ones that are shaking the world elite, sort of, we are seeing this change of guard happening, have grown up on that knowledge.
Absolutely. Very well said. I've got to ask you this, though. Between these guys now, I wonder what's that camaraderie like? Because Vishwanathan Anand, he used to travel alone. He didn't have, in terms of, having other players with him from India. Whereas now they're all traveling together. What do you think that camaraderie is like among each other?
I've been to tournaments with these guys. I've been in training camps with them, and they are such good friends. It is such a healthy relationship, and I feel that has played a key role in seeing this, not just one player shoot up, not just one youngster be at the top, but this entire sort of group of, under 20 players in India who are out there fighting against the very best in the world and holding their own, who have real, I wouldn't even call them dreams anymore, who are going to have a shot at becoming the world champion one day. Pragg already has made it to the candidates. So it's a very healthy rivalry and a very healthy competition, which I think has worked out beautifully for Indian chess, because they've sort of grown together. And we've seen in this very World Cup, when we had the quarterfinals between Pragg and Arjun, before such a huge match, which pretty much determined a spot in the candidates, the two were out going for a walk in the evening every single day before their match, and keeping that sort of relationship, that healthy friendship off the board. But obviously the gloves come on when you're facing each other.
Yeah. But Magnus Carlsen, how does one beat him? And the other thing being, I was seeing this, he's said that he had food poisoning, and yet he played 99% accurate chess yesterday. I was reading somewhere and I said, how does one beat Magnus Carlsen especially if he wants to win this, which he was so motivated to do so, sir, Bharat sir, that, he doesn't have a World Cup title, right? So he was just as motivated. Pragg, of course, trying to win his maiden World Cup title. But Magnus Carlsen and the genius of Magnus Carlsen is quite something.
Yeah, I think he played so much chess. Whatever happens, he can just play. At least when you have to draw with white pieces, he finds it very easy, whatever condition he has. And he has so many things, so many positions in mind, and so much high quality tournaments he has played. But of course, this World Cup was a challenge and he has never won it. So he just wanted to break this thing. So he was working very hard, but he worked very hard irrespective of his health or anything.
Yeah.
When it comes to chess, he gives his best.
Yeah. Also the pressure of a knockout format such as this, Tanya, how different is that?
It's a different ball game. This is sort of the most spectacular knockout chess extravaganza, and I think the fact that Magnus, who has no big sort of this thing about going to play the candidates, he's made it very clear that he doesn't really care about playing the candidates or going to the World Championship. The fact that he played to win it shows how much he enjoys the format as well. You said, what do you do to beat Magnus? I don't think anyone knows the answer to that. The guy is just, his chess is from another planet. The format, I think, is super exciting, and we've seen that with the kind of fan following the event has had. The spectators love it. It's a mini, you get to kind of see all sort of formats of chess. You get to see a mini match between two players. Then you get to see speed chess between them. The time control gets faster and faster if the games are tied. So it's a very exciting format to play, to follow. And I think the fact that Magnus decided to play it despite not really caring about making it to the candidates shows how much this means to the chess players.
Well, have you had conversations with Pragg about his chess, Tanya, and what have those conversations been like?
So I mean, Pragg is a lot younger to me, and we've been part of several training camps. I haven't had any very deep conversations with him regarding his chess. I've always been in awe of his style of play. But one of the things that I think really struck out to me was for the Chennai Olympiad, we had a training camp and we were all sort of sitting and kind of solving positions together. There was Pragg was there, Nihal was there, a bunch of other players, and I was there, and Ramesh, Pragg's coach, he was sort of setting up positions. And even before Ramesh would finish putting the last piece on the board, even before he would finish setting up the entire position, Pragg had already rattled off variations and figured out the answer, which was a 10, 12 move long, really complicated line. And then, you know, you're just sitting there and saying, that's genius.
Yeah. What do I do to this next? So you know, one thing I noticed with Magnus Carlsen is that he comes right before the times, right before time, as in, you know, just I think 2 or 3 seconds before. He did that yesterday. He did that today as well. Is that also some sort of a strategy? Because with Pragg, he's sitting there patiently, waiting, trying to probably visualize what he's going to do. Is that something that's a strategy for Magnus? Mind games.
I don't really know, but Carlsen comes in general very late to the tournament hall.
Yeah.
Most
Yesterday
of the time, most of the tournament.
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Yeah, most of the time he comes late, and today he was just 30 seconds or 40 seconds before the start. So I don't know. I don't think it is a strategy or something. Maybe he just get ready and do things to just be out for a long time.
Possibly.
I don't really know. It cannot be. Maybe the game, maybe the brain game.
Yeah, maybe it's a mind game. Because I saw that even yesterday, exactly. The clock was ticking and it was 4, 3, 2, and that's when he walked in and shook hands with Pragg. Whereas Pragg had been waiting there, calmly sitting, patiently waiting for his game. Okay, just quickly, for all those people, Tanya, who are saying, but you know, we wish he would have won the final. What do you have to say to them? Because it is still a huge achievement, right?
It's absolutely spectacular. It surpasses every single expectation at 18 to make it all the way through to the finals in one of the most demanding formats of the ultimate mind game. Along the way, taking down the biggest names in the chess world like Hikaru Nakamura, like Fabiano Caruana, playing the finals, holding Magnus to that draw in the classical, though it felt like Magnus had a very clear strategy that he wanted to take it into the tie breaks, health reasons, as well as his confidence in his speed chess. And then, of course, you know, the big enchilada of making it to the candidates. Yes, I know that for many fans today, many of the Indian fans today, it is a disappointing day that he didn't win. But you can't forget what a run and what a journey and what a performance this has been by Pragnananda.
Absolutely. What do you think he could have done differently today? I mean, where is it that you felt like, was it You know, was he just because he was pushed into a corner by Magnus and, you know, time was running out? That's when you normally make a blunder. What was it for you?
So in the speed chess best of two, the margin for error is so little. And I think losing that first rapid white game with the white pieces, and it was a really complex game. It was quite a topsy-turvy game, and it could have been anyone's game. First, Magnus was on the defense, then, you know, he managed to turn things around. And once Magnus gets an advantage, it's so difficult to kind of fight that. And I think losing that game with white and having to make a comeback with black to win on demand, a must-win game with black, against a player like Magnus is a Herculean task. And so I think there were those critical mistakes that happened in time scrambles, you know, from both players. And I think, losing that game with white really cost the match.
There are a couple of wonderful pictures of him, his mother. Right, she's waiting and she's smiling at him while he's getting ready for an interview, or she's waiting for him as he starts his game. And Gary Kasparov commented on it, saying that this is such a wonderful picture because I traveled with my mother everywhere for all my tournaments. And I feel like it's not, you know, people don't talk enough about the sacrifices of parents, of siblings, for sports persons, right? And I think when you look at Pragg, you realize how much his mother's done, right? She travels with him, she carries a rice cooker with him, which is a sweet little story in itself, and it also tells you what mothers can do for their kids. But just this struggle and the sacrifices of parents and siblings, Tanya, I'm sure you've had that personal experience as well.
Absolutely. And I think it's never enough, no matter how much you talk about it or thank them. And you're completely right. Like, it's sort of like the story of the unsung hero.
Yeah.
And all of us who have made it in sports, who've made a career in sports, we've had that one family member who's had to sacrifice a lot of their life, a lot of their dreams to make ours possible. And in Pragg's case, it is Mrs. Nagalakshmi. I've seen her in tournaments, just being there for weeks and weeks and just supporting that. And she's, you know, she's a petite woman, but she has this really strong character. And you can just tell that it means so much to Pragg. He's also spoken about it, and to his sister Vaishali. She's accompanied both of them for these tournaments. And I think, I mean, Pragg will probably answer that question better, but I have no doubts in my mind that his success in this tournament, he owes so much of it to his family, and especially to his mom, who's been there throughout the month with him.
Okay, Tanya Sachdev and Bharat Singh Chauhan, thank you so much to both of you for joining us here. So that's it then. Just before we go, we're going to wrap this up. But just before we go, in a big blow for Indian wrestling, the United World Wrestling on Thursday suspended India for failure to conduct elections. Indian Olympic Association's acting CEO, Kalyan Chaubey, he confirmed the development, which means that even though India's wrestlers will still participate in the World Championships next month, they will be taking part as neutrals and not under the national flag. Moreover, in case India's wrestlers finish on top of the podium, the national anthem will not be played. The world body has written to the IOA informing them about the decision. They said the IOA has received a communication and will decide the future course of action, including the selection of teams for the World Championships, an official said. The selection trials for the World Championship were to be held in Patiala on 25th and 26th of August. However, the fate of that is now unknown. The UWW had threatened to suspend India back in June when it issued a strongly worded statement condemning the treatment and detention of the protesting wrestlers. The WFI elections have been long overdue after the term of its former president, Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, who's been accused of sexual harassment, ended earlier this year. The polls were postponed twice owing to court orders. That's it on this special. News 9 Live is what you need to subscribe to for all the latest from the world of sports. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.
BrahMos. Stealthy, lethal, precise. It flies at 3 times the speed of sound and cuts through a warship like a hot knife through butter. China's navy has threatened its neighbors, and they are turning to the BrahMos for protection. The Warship Killer. This and more streaming on world's first news OTT, News 9 Plus. Download now.
Pakistan is actually genociding Baloch people. So being Baloch is a crime. If you are a Baloch, it means in the eyes of Pakistan, you don't have any right to live.
The Chinese and Pakistanis are colonizing the Baloch and exploiting their resources.
The Baloch armed struggle will continue unless China withdraws, Pakistan military withdraws from Balochistan and give Baloch complete authority to decide for themselves.
The Baloch feel that if they don't act now, they will become marginalized.
What lies ahead?